I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, review and adoption of the agenda. So look over your agenda and make a motion when you're ready.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda.
And we'll let Alex pick which one. Okay, all in favor? Thank you. Approval of minutes from October 24th, 2022, the regular meeting minutes. Look over those and make a motion when you're ready.
Make a motion to approve the October 24th, 2022 minutes.
All in favor?
Yes, correct.
All right, public comments. Do we have any? Carrie.
Yeah, we've got 3 absent.
Okay, we've got one, it's Ricky Barnes.
Come on up, Ricky.
I might as well be sitting up there with y'all at this point. Thank you for hearing me again, and I was pleased to see EBYO as part of the schedule this evening. Just wondering why I wasn't invited to talk about EBYO. Since I last talked to you, we met with Logan, and there was a discussion about reduction of the rent for us. And I guess we'll get into that in a little bit, but the main thing I wanted to say this evening, if you look at the back page, number 4, $65,420 we paid in to the town of Hildebran. Roughly 10 years. A rent reduction is great, but if you want to increase people moving into Hildebran, like I've heard the last 3 meetings I've been at, this is like an additional tax on people with kids. Now, if the tax was for everybody, I would agree to it, but this is just a tax on people with kids. It's like the town of Hildebran don't want kids here. And I would also like to point out the bill that is included in this for $750 that has not been discussed again either. Thank you.
All right, that's all public comment. Okay. Number 6, a public hearing. And for public hearing for ZTA 2022-8 regarding Hildebran Town Council decision authority following denial of zoning map amendment request. And I will go ahead and open up the public hearing. And Rachel, if you'd like to go ahead and start.
Yes.
And then we'll turn it over to the audience.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well. So just a little bit of background. The town of Hildebran staff requested a text amendment to revise our ordinance. And this will just add an additional step for the zoning map process. The proposal will be in specifically section 8.5, and it will state that upon the denial of an application, a similar zoning map amendment application may not be filed for the period of a year for town council. And I made a recommendation saying this is reasonable and in the best interest of the public, mainly because this helps to carry out our legislative decision-making process in the most fair and efficient way possible. I pulled some example, but specifically, you see it in a lot of town ordinances, this language. I've seen it in the town or city of Morganton and Salisbury as well, which is actually where I pulled that wording to, for consistency with other towns and cities. So due to the town of Hildebran being or our town council being a legislative process, a new application of the same request is not in the best interest until we see a modification of elected officials. I had some questions from the planning board in the past about that. It just allows for the legislative process to work. It doesn't necessarily mean there needs to be a change in the legislative composition, but it just allows for some wiggle room there. And like about a year is what I've seen consistently in other towns and cities. A planning board made a recommendation for approval at our November 1st meeting. And happy to answer any questions that you have, but mainly it's about allowing a time frame so there's not a continued reapplication within the same zoning district. Any questions?
Anybody got any questions? Okay. Any public want to comment? All right, any discussion of the council? Okay, I will close this public hearing and go on to 7, old business, 7A. And that is what we just spoke about. Consider approval of ZTA 2022-8 regarding Town of Hildebran Council decision authority following a denial of the zoning map amendment request. So, and this requires a motion and vote, so whenever y'all are ready.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the request.
There's a,
You want me to read that?
yes,
Yeah.
please. Sorry.
I've been Honeycomb, make a motion to approve the zoning text amendment 2022-8 after denial of the zoning map of application. It is not to be refiled until 1 year post council decision. I find that the proposed text amendment is consistent with other North Carolina municipal zoning ordinances. The request is reasonable and in the public interest due to allowing an appropriate amount of time to take into account any legislative or property changes.
Okay, all in favor? Thank you. All right, 8, new business. 8A, presentation regarding the Enola Group and Buster Bus. Nancy Wood is here.
I'm Nancy Wood, I'm the Community Engagement Director with the Enola Group, and I just wanted to thank each of you all for giving me the opportunity to share an update on the Buster Bus. It's been just over a year since I first came to you all and asked to allow for the Buster Bus to be in Hildebran, and with that is wonderful partnership with your community again. And it took longer than we had hoped for the bus to be fully refurbished, but it ended up being just what we wanted. And we are just thrilled to have finished our first quarter of programming on the bus. We have worked closely with the Hildebran Library and the Steps Academy at Hildebran Elementary to make sure that we were supplementing their services and not duplicating anything. And just wanted to tell you all that we are now fully enrolled. Both our 0 to 3-year-old class and our 3 to 5-year-old classes are fully enrolled, and we're beginning a waiting list and thinking about how we'll continue to accommodate interest in the future. But just some numbers so you all have an idea of what we're doing here. We have children, we've had children attend activities a total of 99 times in the past 3 months. And then the library is bringing 1 story time a month onto the bus. So we're able to serve an additional 27 attendees in those activities. So I think that's really exciting. Also wanted to share some feedback that we've gotten from some families. One parent said her child can play with educational toys like stringing beads, toys that she doesn't have at home. Other families have appreciated the opportunity for their children to play with others and to learn to share and make new friends. And one mom said that she and her child talk about the bus all week long, and her daughter's behavior has improved since she started coming to the bus. I also wanted to share with y'all that one mom said that she thinks that she looks forward to coming to the bus just as much as her boys, and that we always have interesting things to share with them. And the week that she said that, the teacher played a mystery game with the children, and then they did something as simple as exploring and tasting pomegranates. So just some unique activities. All the activities that the teacher's designing are around literacy, math, science, and art. And then they also enjoy free play, so they just get to explore the bus and learn how to play with others. But we're thrilled about the new relationships that are being built. And we heard from one parent that her child talks about her bus friends all the time. And as a result, the family started attending the library story times as well, so she could see some of her best friends. So that's great that we're building relationships, not only with the children and families, but with the other programs that are offering services. So I just wanted to kind of fill you all in on what's been going on and how it's been going. And just thank you again for letting us come here and provide these services at no cost.
Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, next, presentation regarding the Burke County Cops, Department. John Bridges.
Yes, he is not here tonight.
Okay, so
We
we
can
just
table that or,
table it.
yeah, until next month.
Okay. All right, C, discussion of EBYAO gym rental reduction request.
Okay, so earlier this month, I did meet with several members of EBYO's board to discuss some of their requests to the town. A lot of those requests are found in the letter that he gave out. So during our discussion, EBYO requested switching locker rooms, moving into the boys' locker room for additional storage space. Within the gymnasium, they've requested additional storage space in the maintenance building that Burke County currently leases behind the municipal complex. They would like to remove the exit at the girls' locker room so that they can use that for storage capacity. Temporary just for the soccer girls, but it would be removing an exit in the hallway that currently exists. Then they also asked for additional storage space in the maintenance building that Burke County currently leases behind the municipal complex. And then a reduction in rent. They requested during the meeting a 60% reduction. I mentioned the town offering a 50% reduction. As that amount fit within the amount council briefly discussed during one of our meetings. However, at this time, staff does not have a recommendation. Council may discuss, the letter, the requests within the letter, the 4 requests that I've mentioned here. We can either vote, not vote, table it, and to be honest with you, without the town attorney here, it might be advisable to table this for now.
Do we know, is he on his way?
I cannot get in touch with him.
Okay.
I did try calling him.
Well, how does the council feel about, I guess, tabling?
Table it.
And just as, before you take that vote, we did get the lockers installed to the wall, so they're completely installed, no issue for kids. The other issues they mentioned about electrical stuff. So you've got a light out above the entrance doors. Now we do have the street light, so it's not illuminated. It's just they would prefer that extra light to be there. And then some of the outlets don't work, and some of the electrical switches, fuses won't stay on. We have called Conley Springs Electric. I did call them several times. They're not able to come out. So now we have an appointment with Hickory Electric first week of December. So they're going to come out and look at that. Some of the other things that were mentioned were to update the actuators on the goals. So right now, EBYO, they have to use a tool that I think they created to lift and lower the goals. If we were to install new actuators, and I know that probably won't be a discussion we get into tonight, but they would need some type of electrical wiring done from the goal to a switch on the wall. And Hickory Electric has been told about that and asked to price that as well as some of the other stuff. So I'll have something more for you in December on that. But just wanted to give you guys 2 updates.
And Logan, can you remind me utility costs to the town on the?
I don't have the exact utility costs, but I know that if you don't include any repairs to the gym on a yearly basis, just your basic insurance, the flooring, electrical, toilet paper, just your basic, year-to-year expenses, you come out to around $17,000 a year in expenses just for the gym. If you include your every so often maintenance items like a roof or an AC, we're having to do like a new waxing on the floor, that amount jumps, I believe, to, it's somewhere between 32 and 38. Don't quote me on that, per year.
32,000 or an additional 3,200?
No, 32 to 38,000. Rick, do you remember?
I'll get you, I don't have those numbers right now, but I'll get you a breakdown of what
Okay,
we spent on
Thank
it.
you.
Can you send that all of us?
And one other thing we did during the negotiations with Eastburg Youth, they asked for our financials in the process of asking for some of this information. We have requested a copy of their financials, but haven't received anything. That was back, I think, in June.
All right, so we'll have to wait for the attorney. Yes,
Those financials are currently with Jim. Jim is working on a presentation for the council, and that was for the actual swapping of the gym and the property across the street. And with the way things are going right now, it doesn't look like the town is going to even consider that. And during that discussion, I wouldn't exactly say it was a negotiation, we were told that the gym was worth $1.4 million. The gym is not worth $1.4 million. This entire complex is worth $1.4 million, which makes me think the town doesn't want anything to do with us as far as a trade. But that has nothing to do with the rent reduction. And he can throw that in there all he wants to, but that property across the street is gonna have to sit there until we have the money to update it. And as long as we're paying $6,000 a year to you to maintain the gym, that puts that property on hold. And like I said a minute ago, that is just like a double tax on anybody that has a child. Thank you.
does anyone else have anything to say?
Logan, you mentioned you had talked with them about negotiating a little bit. You had some kind of, something in writing or agreement that they would do this and this, and that one. That we could do this for us to look at, I mean, if we try to single out one piece at a time, we'll never get this thing resolved. If we can get together, maybe you and maybe some council or somebody to just get with them, just make a list and present our side, present their side, see if we can't come to a negotiation, have it in writing so we can see it. And then we can keep it in our records, and then we can vote on it. Council has something to look at and vote on, because right now, I mean, we'd be voting in blind right now. And we can't do that with taxpayers' money.
Would council like to have maybe two of the members meet with maybe me, the town attorney, and EBYO to see exactly what their final request is?
I think it would be a good idea. I'm not sure about the rest of the council.
We just want to informally name two.
Okay, who would like to do it? Ben? Okay.
And
Mike?
No.
You brought it up.
I will never want to be on this.
okay, we'll try and set aside a time sometime.
We can sit down and, I mean, listen out both sides, make a list, everybody agree to it, and bring it to council, and council do it, and then we're done.
Yeah.
And not have to keep going back and forth on that every month.
All right, anyone else have anything? Okay, we'll move on to the November facilities report. That is in your packet. Logan, do you have any comment on that?
The facilities report, I do not.
Okay. October tax report, that's in your packet. October deputy report, that's in your packet. It was 2 pages this time. What happened?
Yeah. Where you been?
I'll assume you're joking about that. Come walk in my shoes one day.
I know.
Okay. This is, we went for what, 3 months with less than 10 or 12 and then, just bit us in the butt. So, the block cameras, we've got 2 locations set aside for that. We'll have the paperwork for the property owners to sign as far as to agree to put it on their property, within the week. We're gonna put one on 70A and one on 70. Both of these will be, going out of town, traveling back east. Down about 3rd Avenue, spoke with you earlier about yours. And the other one will be on around about 304A, US Highway 70 East. Most of our traffic we've determined going towards Rodius, Cape Hickory Road, Longview, Hickory. So that's where we're gonna start.
Okay,
It'll be a good start.
good. All right, if there's no other questions or anything, we will go on to committee reports. Technical Coordinating Committee.
I did not get to attend the meeting, but I did send you guys all a copy of the agenda today for your review. There wasn't anything for us in that meeting, but I did want to mention that DOT did have their public input request meeting this month for comments. I did attend that. We had quite a few citizens attend that. Karen attended that. The one concern I have with their proposal is long-term, if we try to make South Center Street our downtown street, a walkable, pedestrian-friendly street, the one issue you're gonna have with the current plan that they produced is, I believe, traffic going towards Hickory, getting on 40. They have a route where you go off of Curly's for one of the trucking companies, on the 70, on the 3rd Street, and then they backtrack once they get off of 3rd on the main to get to 18 to then head the opposite direction. I don't think they'll take that route. I think what you're gonna end up seeing is anyone heading towards Hickory will actually get off of Curly's, get on to 70, get on to South Center, and then get on 19 to head towards Hickory. It doesn't make any sense to backtrack, especially when you're in trucking business where you're paying fuel with gas miles. So, I do think it's gonna encourage transfer truck traffic onto South Center Street. What all we can do about that at this point, I don't know. If that's something council wants me to look into or make a comment to DOT about, I can do that, but I do think that's something we might want to look at.
We definitely need a stoplight at Main and West Avenue, east and west. If that comes to pass, cause I've got a little bit of intel about that also as far as the roads. We really don't want 18-wheelers coming down South Center Street, no more than what's already coming down South Center Street. If that's the case, and this is gonna be a 4 to 5 year project, we definitely need a light there.
Well, and I have mentioned that to DOT at all levels I know to go to. I've been told that project specifically is too expensive because of the right of way that utility companies charge for them to hang those lights. $300-some thousand project to do stoplights, and that it's not gonna happen, is what I was told. So I
hate to say it, but somebody's gonna have to die for it.
You said
Well, I mean,
it's a $300,000 project to
That's
put
what I was
stoplights out here? But they talked about putting a roundabout and all that?
DOT
in the
is
short
creating,
term,
DOT is creating this law.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
DOT is creating this
That's what
problem.
makes
by
sense to
closing-
me. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, I would like you to talk with someone about what can be done.
It's a safety issue, really it is.
Well, are they gonna shut off Curly's Fish Camp Road?
they are.
What are they gonna do about an access road?
Third,
Because you got Freightliner and all right there.
third,
That's my issue, is if they get off of Curly's, go on to 70, come to Third, come back up to get on Main Avenue, to then get on 18. That makes sense if you're heading towards Morganton. However, they're not gonna do all that to then head to Hickory, they're just gonna come on down to South Center. So and they may even do that to head the other way, they may not wanna take, I don't know how inviting Third Street's gonna be, or Third Avenue, or whatever it is, I think it's Third Street.
Third Street.
Southwest.
So if they shut it off, you're gonna have more traffic coming right down here to come out as far as trucks. There'll be more of them right in the middle of town.
And when they're coming back in, are they gonna stop at 18? Just to get on to Main, just to get on to Third, just to get on to 70, just to get back onto Curly's Fish Camp, or are they just gonna come on down to 119?
Coming down to 119 is gonna be easiest. I'm gonna be honest with you, I drive one every day, that's gonna be the
And
easiest
that's,
route.
and that's gonna bring you down South Center Street.
That's what I'm saying, that's,
Yeah, it doesn't.
I mean, that common sense tell you that's what's gonna happen with all your trucks, they're gonna come right through the middle.
Yeah.
Because you got all these trucks going to Freightliner.
Well, most of your industry is across the railroad tracks, so they're either gonna cross Klein or they're gonna cross North Center Street. Or go down to Texas Fish Camp Road.
Well, what happened with the road that we talked about putting in off of 118? We talked about it one other time. Where they were gonna put a road that fed into 70.
That's gonna be Third. They're gonna
They
rework
axed that.
Third.
They axed it. I mean, that would've been ideal.
It was
I
because.
mean, that would've kept your truck traffic out of the middle of town.
I was told if the church, if the graveyard wasn't an issue with the church, they would have bought the church.
Yeah.
They're gonna buy several houses. Actually, Deeks Avenue is gonna go all the way to Martin's Fish Pond right now to alleviate some of the traffic
It's gonna go all the way to where?
from Deeks Avenue,
It's gonna go all the way through.
all the way through.
There's gonna be a lot of unhappy property owners.
Yes,
They would have bought the church
if it hadn't been for the cemetery.
because they can't move a cemetery.
Correct.
How much would that church have cost?
There, I don't know the numbers on it, but they're spending a lot of money. And this will include the bridge being redone at 118 also.
I think it was 26 million is what they said, as is.
24 and 5-year project.
All right, well, Transportation Advisory Committee,
I wasn't able to attend that meeting, but I also forwarded the agenda.
okay. Which would be my council government policy board.
Yeah, the meeting was last Tuesday. I forwarded the agenda. We learned of COG recently receiving several national awards. And we're given an update on the American Rescue Plan funding and how COG hopes to use it to help address homelessness in our area.
Burke Economic Development.
We are not having a meeting this month. We're having a workshop, economic development workshop, from 8 to 12. I cannot remember the date right now. I believe it's next week, in place of the meeting. That's all.
Recreation and Tourism.
Nothing to report.
Water Resource.
So with the nutrient control, plan, they are looking to reduce nutrient loading, basically having, fair and reasonable water access. They want to make High Rock Lake more swimmable. And currently, right now, they're working in the stakeholder outreach engagement plan, but 2023 to 2026 will be when proposals and submission, hopefully approval in 2026 for that plan. And then the River Trail for county, they're holding a public meeting with municipalities for feasibility studies in January and February.
Vedic.
Bennett met on October the 27th, on Zoom. Carrie, did the financial report, they did the delinquent report. One loan was paid off and one was transferred to traditional bank loan, which is what they would like for, the loans to do if they can't get paid off, is to go to a traditional bank loan, because VEDIC loans, are the ones that the banks won't make, and the VEDIC must charge higher interest rate than the banks because they can't compete with the bank. So it's to the business owner's advantage to either pay the loan off or to get a traditional bank loan. So it's great when business is doing well enough to transfer to a traditional bank loan. One new loan was approved, and VEDIC has a PowerPoint on its website, and they have 7 or 8 client testimonials on there. If you get a chance, go on their website and look at that. It'll tell you about some of the new companies that VEDIC has helped, and they'll tell you exactly what VEDIC has done to help them and to improve their hiring of people in the county. The next meeting is for November and December. Will be December 1st at Valdez Family Splash Park at the meeting facility. I was concerned about that when they said splash park in November. So I found out that they would have a meeting facility there that they rent out, which I did not know.
All right, the library board, we didn't have a meeting this month. The comprehensive master plan steering committee,
We had a meeting and, we're trying to finalize our study and, we're going to submit changes and anything that we need to Rachel. We're going to have a public meeting on January 11th, and our final meeting will be on January the 30th.
More about that.
all right. The events committee, we just had our meeting discussing the parade, which is Saturday. So first of all, well, we already talked about everybody's gonna come, pretty much. You can't, because you're going on vacation.
No, it's got other plans.
Who all is gonna help before the parade? Terry, I think you said you would. Mike, you can,
What do you need done, just lining up people?
Yeah.
tell people where to go. I think you'd like that, wouldn't you?
If you are willing to volunteer, we're planning on meeting Friday at 4. If you can make that to kind of iron out some last second details. So if you can be there, great. I know you two can't, but I will call you after that meeting later that night and explain everything.
Was there anything else about the parade or anything?
Well, I've heard from a couple of folks who didn't realize that there was a deadline for signing up, and they wondered if they could fill in at the end and join the parade.
So 2 things. Alice and I were out there today trying to look at First Street and how we're gonna line people up before they actually go in. So Chad Houston, when the fire department was over it, that he claims they had over 100 participants and had room to line them up. We're not sure, we're at 61, is that right?
True, they did not keep parking spots like we are.
Yeah, they didn't line them up, so,
No,
So-
I mean parking spots for the parade entry people like we are.
okay, yeah. In other words, we're allowing them to come in the back and park. Then get in the parade line. If they have extra parking, they're gonna have 60 spots, 61, they should want. So they all get one spot to park a vehicle if they need it. So we're not sure how the spacing is gonna work. We've been telling people no, but it's only been 3 or 4 that we've turned down so
About
far.
8.
We've turned down 8. So far, the committee's agreed that if they're not in it, they're not in it. But now if, council gets final say so, but the only thing we don't know is how it's gonna look towards the back. We also need to get some people back in to start on the movie and the show. So like the mayor, some of the council members, they're gonna have to be back in line even probably before some of the ones that went to finish out the parade. So we're gonna need some space in the back. If we're told we gotta include them, we'll figure it out. It's advisable probably not to, but it is the council's decision.
I think there are gonna be people coming. They're gonna wanna be in the parade, because that's the way it's kind of been in the past.
They're not. used to a deadline.
We can make the mayor the one up there.
Oh, I'll be the guy.
All in favor?
I'll make that motion.
Wait a minute, what am I out there doing, saying no or letting me? What are you telling me?
Yes.
Yes. If we have last second people, we will make sure that they're at the end, and if there's a way to make them a part of it, we'll do that.
We said this parade's not gonna be perfect.
Right.
It's a learning curve.
You know,
Or from.
all right,
Yeah.
We'll discuss it Friday at 4 and see what we do.
okay. All right. Okay, that's our last committee. Now, other business.
Yes. I would like to ask for a motion and a vote to advise Logan and staff to look for a new security company to take care of the park. And that'll do what we pay them to do, not do what they want to do. Because the park is opened at between 4:15 and 4:30 every morning. The park is closed between 9:30 and 15:10 every night. And when they come and close it, are they not supposed to walk around and look, make sure there's nobody in the park? 2 weeks ago, sitting on right there in my kitchen, looking out the window at the park. It's about 9:30, 20 minutes till 10, because Burke County's got a call on the books up there when I called. They put the cones out, went up, locked everything up, come back down and drove right by my house and people up there in the park with flashlights. This has went on for how long? And it don't get no better.
On that particular call, they were looking for a dog. That's what was in the call notes.
I told these people up there with the flashlight, they wasn't nothing about a dog, nothing whatsoever about it.
I'm just saying.
Well,
it was in
and
notes.
Nothing against
I
you,
know.
Gary.
I know.
The deputy came, the gate was locked. He drove, I was sitting on my deck at that time. He drove right down by the park, did not turn out the road, go out the road on the lower side. He come right in front of my house, turned around and drove right back up the road. And the flashlights come right back on the park and went around the curve.
We have a lot of news.
I mean, you know what I'm saying, though, it's just, but if they would walk through the park and secure it, when they lock it up, they would have seen something.
Yeah.
I said for a long time. I think, they get somebody on the way to work, stop by and open the gate. Then they get somebody, when they get off work, to shut the gate, they ain't doing the work. They ain't thought much of it for a long time.
I think the hours are supposed to be from
Yeah, if
6
it's
to
secure,
7.
they get paid for something.
Winter,
We're paying them for something, and they just set the
we follow the county
overflow.
parks when they open and close. And then in summertime hours, it's 6 to 8, I think.
But like I say, I just think we need to get a motion and a vote to let them look for a new security company and get what we're paying for. Because I don't feel like we're getting it. It's been that way for how many years? We've talked about it, it don't get no better. You've called and you've talked to them?
No,
Oh, we're gonna take care of it, so we're gonna get it straightened out. Yep, next day, right there, 9:30, 20 minutes to 10, they're up there locking it up. 4:30 in the morning, they're up there opening it up, so what's the use to lock it?
They're just supposed to be locking the bathrooms and all
Yeah, but when the lights are all on up there, when they unlock it at 4:30 in the morning, 4:15 in the morning, all the lights are turned on. So what we doing, we just invite them, come on in.
Have you made that as a motion?
I'm asking for a motion, or I'll make the motion. I'll make the motion that we advise Logan and the staff to look for a new security company.
Okay. Any other discussion?
I just had a quick question. Do we actually have a contract with Griffin?
I don't know of a contract. We pay them month to month.
Yeah, they supposedly do 4 trips a night, and it's $2 a trip, and then they do extra, well, a little less when Joey was here, because he would lock and unlock the gate. They do more trips when he's not here.
So it's not an annual contract type thing.
Well,
So we can change if we need to. I mean,
You said they're supposed to be here by there 4 times? Well, so they got time to come by there four times, and they
Yeah.
lock it at 9:30, 15 or 10, they're back at 4:30, 24, 4:30, to open it back up. I don't see how they can come by there 4 times.
All right. Well, I will call it for a vote. All in favor? All right, thank you. Any other business?
One more thing, I'm on the roll now, I'm gonna wait and get it out. I like to ask for a motion and a vote to get Logan and staff to look about somebody cleaning that mess up between the food line, the back of the doctor's office, right behind the town hall, all that cut through. You're not gonna get rid of it, you're not gonna kill it. Over a period of time, you can kill it, but it needs to be bush hogged at least twice a year and sprayed. Because what's gonna be right there next is gonna be the homeless living in there if they're not already.
I thought I saw a tent or something.
Yeah.
It's very possible.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's for the lady's cats.
Huh?
If you will walk out there, you'll see it. She keeps cats. My suggestion would be to call animal control and have it picked up.
But yeah, I've asked for that several times, Terry, to have that.
Well, that's the reason I'm asking for a motion and a vote so we can get something going on it.
Well, the
It's about
whole,
time. How can we go out and cite people to clean up their property, and when the town owns property, it's sitting there looking just as bad?
and that comes off the backside of the food line, their property, because the backside is all kudzu.
Yeah, but the town owns part of that
They
down
do.
through there.
They do.
And that's what I say, we need to clean our part up. How can we get somebody else to do anything if we don't do our part?
No, well, and just so bush hog it twice or.
I get, try to get it bush hogged at least twice a year. If you bush hog it twice a year, spray it,
Bush hog it, then
and spray it twice a year. Eventually, you're gonna start killing some of it down. You're not gonna get rid of all of it, but you're gonna kill it down.
Don't you think a front-end loader has to come in there first and scrape it down? That's pretty thick.
Well, it's okay today. I'll take, give me permission, I'll take my tractor through there. I ain't a bit afraid to go through there and start cutting it up.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I have no idea what it looks like underneath there, because, I mean, it was here before I got here, so.
I know they went in there and got a building out of there that flowed across the railroad tracks here back when that storm has come through here. They came over at the Hildebran. It landed right in the middle of that stuff. And they drove right in there, drove a vehicle up in there and started hauling it out, so.
Do I hear a motion?
I'll make that motion to get advised, Logan and staff to get some estimates on getting the property bush off behind town hall.
Yes.
No, I was gonna vote.
Oh, you're voting. I thought you were saying. Okay, all in favor? You did it before. All right. Any other business?
I have just a few minor updates. So, in terms of the park contract, I did speak with, Tom Petit of West Consultants last week. He has, put in all of the requests that we have for the new contract. He has submitted that to, the owner, Benji Thomas, for approval. Once we do receive that back, Jared and I will look through it, and we can either call a special meeting, depending on how quickly it needs to be approved, or approve it at our next meeting. Either way, I do think it'll be next month at the latest when we do get that. But I'll let you know once I receive it. I did not get anything from, our architect, Bond, regarding the new request on the auditorium for the changes we talked about fit. Haven't gotten anything, so that's why we don't have an update. And then the only other thing that council needs to either start thinking about or talking about is we've talked about a monument, a veteran/educators monument at the park. The problem is, so I did speak with Todd about the monuments that they did at Sawmills. You can Google the ones that was done at Sawmills. They're saying that cost $120,000. I don't personally see that. Now, I don't do monuments at all, ever. Never done one, never done a project, have no, nothing to base that on. However, when we looked at it, one of the biggest things they need to know is what's your expectations for a monument for educators and veterans. The thing about it is, I don't know if anyone has a list of names, and I'm not sure how we're expected to go about getting the list of names.
Well, you know, they don't need to know how many of them.
They don't know how to price it until they know How many?
Well, and plus the fact you'll add names to it over the years, so there need to be some blank spaces
Well, yeah,
there.
but I mean, you know, you get a start point.
Well, we'd also talked about putting it in the tower, right?
So, and that's one of the other ideas that makes a lot of sense is instead of doing a full-on granite monument, doing like granite sheets. I believe it was Terry's, idea. Now, I don't mind the idea, but it's not my decision. But the idea was to possibly put those granite sheets on the inside of the tower. Now, the one thing you're gonna have to remember with the tower is in the new one, you're only gonna have one complete wall. You're gonna have the two little diagonal pieces from the shape of it, but it's gonna be three-sided in terms of exits and entrances, whatever you wanna call it. One goes to the breezeway, one comes in the front, and one goes out the back. So you will have that one side, but again, until we know how many names, it's kind of hard to know if that's a
So
feasible.
how wide is the other area? You're gonna have two other areas, but they're gonna be smaller, correct?
Yeah, I can't remember, but we can figure it out.
You look at it, you'd always put the slate down it and on the main wall, because that's the entrance way to the park. Everybody's gonna go through there, put a light on the inside. When they go in that way, it's gonna be lit up where they can see them, and they're gonna walk right through it, and it's kept out of the weather. You have to go back and repolish anything or whatever, it's gonna be on the inside.
Well, and if council does like that idea, I do know it would be significantly cheaper. The only other thing is, if you're looking to do a standalone memorial or monument, you might be looking at, increasing your project cost anywhere from 5% and 15%.
Well, it wouldn't have to be that thick I saw the sawmills, it's very thick marble. I was thinking, my impression was we'd build something out of brick and then put the thin pieces on the brick.
If you didn't put it in the tower.
Yeah, if you go another way, yeah. So, I mean, gosh, no, it shouldn't cost that much.
Like I said, I just think it'd be, the smart thing to be to put the slate inside the tower, entrance way to the park, everybody's gonna walk right through it.
Yeah, maybe put 3 separate pieces, or so that we can, take one down and add names, one that's there all the time.
Cause what you gonna do, have big small plaques put on there with their name, is that correct?
Well, it would be like
But
some
then
granite
engraved.
sheet engraved. But now like Ben's saying, you could do it in pieces so that you could take it off in the future and then just add names to it. And I don't think that would be.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know exactly who started the idea of the monuments. I don't know if there's already a list of names that has it been thought through? Do we kind of have an idea, or is it just something we wanted to do? And okay. So we'll need to go about trying to find, normally there's a call for names or from the public. The only other idea is, you all probably know this, I don't. In terms of the educators, are we wanting to honor every educator that taught at Hildebran through its entirety? Do we know how many that is? Or we want to do just the administrators, just the principals and the, your monument could be one wall or might end up being 7 or 8. I just don't know what the expectation
I
is.
thought people would buy or sponsor the name. And it wouldn't,
They're going back for that again.
But
I don't think they're gonna go for that again.
I don't think they'll go for that either.
Already been through that road.
But how you gonna go back and get all the names, if you want to put all the names in, on it to start with?
When did the educator, I mean, nothing against educators, but when did that get added? I thought it was supposed to be a veterans.
It'll start off as veterans and then,
I guess
Start off
I'm
with
to
that.
blame for that.
then the educators.
Just because there was a school there, I thought.
Now, Sonia did mention that they do have the majority of the yearbooks, so I don't think it would be impossible to do that research to find them, but again, just, the more names we add.
Well, that's
bigger
where
of
we
a
need to
space
start,
we
is
need.
compiling the list of names and see, if there's gonna be like 5 million,
You always
something.
look at doing the principal and the teacher of the
Yeah.
year,
Tear it down.
or whatever. Then the school, if it had to be that way, then you can narrow it down.
Okay.
So we need a committee.
I mean,
So
is
I'm
that,
got them yearbooks open. Tell us how many we got.
You're there every Thursday.
Is that something maybe we could ask HHDA to see if they could, with the annuals they have, maybe come up with a list of
Yeah.
all the
Some
teachers or educators?
Just some numbers.
That'd be okay.
Anything new on the elevator?
We are trying to figure out, we have not signed a new contract. We have asked, Jared to look at, either we get out of it at the end of June 30, going into the next fiscal year. The only thing we have are bills, but since we've paid those monthly maintenance contracts, that could be, I was told that could be seen as us committing to the new 1-year contract. So I don't really, we cannot find anything that we've signed that re-upped it. So at worst, we get out in June 30th. If we can get out sooner, great. If they're saying they're no longer willing to service it because it's out of date, there's a possibility we could get out by them not holding up their end of the contract of maintaining it. So we'll have to wait and see, but, the only other elevator company in the MSA is the elevator company out of Morganton, for both the ADA lift and the elevator to do the quarterly, checkups and the yearly testing. Same things that TKE currently does. They would look at charging about $1,300 a year for that service, whereas TKE is currently charging $2,900. So we can, as soon as we can figure out how to get out of that. Jared was on vacation last week, so we've not made a lot of headway there, but as soon as we can figure that out, I'll let council know.
Now, did the elevator company, are they the ones that service the lift during Wizard of Oz? And they're the one that hooked up the battery wrong and it wouldn't work?
No, I didn't know about that. I thought they fixed it.
No, we had a parent to fix it because it wouldn't work.
It didn't work when we first, for the first play, it wouldn't work. So somebody, I tinkered with it. I didn't know what. I couldn't do it. And a couple other people couldn't do it. Finally, somebody figured out how to make it work.
Yeah, the battery was hooked up wrong or it wasn't hooked up at all. So it wasn't working. And we had somebody there in a wheelchair.
I mean, I'll just put it to you this way. I'm eager to get out of that contract.
Good.
I'll reassure you that the service, the not calling us back, the leaving us hanging, that, and then trying to blame it on
And what was and somebody said it was like, we paid,
8, what was it, Grace?
700.
yeah, that's
For 2
ridiculous.
batteries, a fuse, and not calling us back for 2 weeks.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know.
They can give, get time to give the Conley Springs a call, see what they paid for their money down there. They just rebuild all their stuff.
For some reason, I'm thinking the Boy Scouts did a project.
A Boy Scout did it for his Eagle project.
Yeah, I don't know how the money
That's what I
was.
said about ours too, you still hired some big contractor won't charge $100,000 to get old Rick Mason, knows what he's doing. They get old bricks out there making money. They won't charge arm already.
So Tamara.
You know, charging Rick the price instead of robbing you.
Do that.
Is that all the other business?
That's what I mentioned one, what you mentioned the auditorium. Bucket told me that he has been talking with an engineer because we're looking at disaster design, an elevated storage area in the back of the gym. So it's gonna be up on pylons. So he's talked with an engineer as far as what's gonna be required structural and, you know, like a lot of the sod of it and everything. So he's waiting on the engineer to back up on that.
Anything else? I got an announcement here. Please join Mabel Loman's family and the clerk's office for a retirement celebration on Friday, December the 2nd, 2022, to Burke County Courthouse. Please come and share your good wishes with Mabel and enjoy a meal with her anytime between 11:30 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. A special ceremony is planned for 3:30 p.m. in courtroom number 1. And Mabel has always been so good to come to all of our swearing-ins, and she administers the oaths. She's always been so good about doing that. I don't know if the next clerk will do that, but she's been really good about that. So I just wanted to make that announcement. Alice gave this to you.
She will make a window, sure does.
All right, any other announcements? Looks like the next thing is adjourned.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
All right, all in favor? Thank you.
How's Elsie doing?
She's doing great.
She is.
Keeps on kicking.
What, here, I was trying to decide, was Jeff 63 last week?
Jeff.
I'm sure it'll get this right.
It is 15.
Must be.
Yeah. Last time I saw her, she was all great.
Yeah, he's got a lot of fun. She's getting over, I'm getting younger.
That's the way it works, Sam.
That's what.
Whatever they're designed, if it's not designed to be in a flood